Alright guys, welcome to SIPCOMSIS Cybernet, right? Alright, so as I did in a previous video, I was able to configure the LAN interface which I'm going to use to access the Pfsense interface. Now I'll need to bring in a client that I can use. So here I have already installed my Windows, so I'm going to do that. So let me select that. So I have a Windows here. Nice. So this is on host only, so let me make sure I don't have anything in there, right? So I'm going to power up this very machine here to communicate with my Pfsense. Great. So you can see whilst I've powered on my Windows, I have this pop-up showing that there's a DHCP running at the background. So I'm going to click on yes, trust this. So let's check out from this particular environment. So when you go into your run dialog box, okay, or even in the search, you can type CMD, right, for you to visit the command prompt, right? So let me increase the size for us to look at 8. Great. So here when I type IP config, so you can see here I have 192.168.3.1. so it means I'm on the same network as what my Pfsense. So if I should type the same command / or will give me full details of my machine, so it means this is the server which is my DNS. Let's check here DHCP. So you can see here the DHCP server that is giving me IP, right? So here I'll need a browser, right? Okay, so those of you who don't know how to install stuff from your on your VM workstation, right? So you can click on VM. You see this, you can see mine is what reinstall VM tools. If you don't have this, you have to install the VM tools, right? So I have it in my previous videos on how to install your VM tools, and everything is on about what VM workstation, right? So you can get that. So there you can copy stuff from your main machine to your guest operating system like I've done, and I was able to install my Firefox. So double click my Firefox. It's asking me if you want to set this as default, so I can click not now. So in the address space, I'll just put here my 192.168.3.254. That's the IP address of my Pfsense. So enter. Great. So we are able to get to the interface. This is the interface you see for the very first time. So what you do here is you type admin, and then the password is Pfsense. Okay, enter. So I can choose to save this with the browser or say no, not now. So this is the very first settings that we'll have to do. All we have to do here is click on next. So this will click on next as well. Okay, so the name for the Pfsense, will I like to maintain just Pfsense? If I want to change the name, I can make it maybe very beautiful, so Pfsense 01. Then if I have any primary DNS that I would like to put here, I can put that or use otherwise. So let me not tamper with any of these. So next. So here the time zone, you maintain everything default. Next, or you can click here and then you can change your time zone. So let me click next. So we have enabled DHCP here, right? You can see that it's there. So you maintain that on the one interface, because this will pick the IP address from my network, so that if there's internet on my network, this very machine here should be able to have internet. So DHCP should be enabled. But if I know the IP addresses, I can click on static and then come and configure the IP addresses, right? So this I'll maintain what? DHCP. So you scroll down and then you click next. So this is the LAN IP which I used in accessing the Pfsense. So I click next. Great. So it's asking me to change my default admin password, which I'll like to do that. So let me just change that to so I've just changed that. So next. No, I'm not going to save that. So this is going to reload, right? It's a form like restarting the device. Okay, so if you should check here, you can see what is happening here, right? So this is going to, now it's done. So what I'm going to do, I can click on what? Check for updates, right? This is a free firewall, so I can check for update if I want, or I just click finish. All right, so when we click on that, we'll have to scroll down and then accept the licenses and agreements. So accept that. So thank you, and then close. So this is actually your dashboard and everything that is in here, right? So when you click on interface, you can have my LAN interface, and it's actually configured. Okay, I can come here and come to what? My WAN interface, and it's also what? Enable. So if I should click on system and what? Advanced, right? So this is my management interface. I'm using HTTP, right? So I have my firewall and NAT interface. I have my network, so miscellaneous and system, right? So if I click on general settings, so this is where I gave the name to my Pfsense, right? So I can change my time zone if it doesn't correspond, and then I can do any other things. So I can click on system and what? Updates. So if I want it to what? Update, if there's newer update, it's going to check. You can see here, so retrieving, trying to check, so you can see up to date. So it means my system is actually what? Up to date. I can click here and then set my updates settings, so you can see. So I can disable dashboard auto update, so I can tick this to save and then what? Or disable that. I'm not here for that. So okay, still on system. When you go to what? User manager. So this is the user as admin, so I'm the system manager, and then I'm in a group. So if I want to add another user, I can do that. Okay, if I want to do any editing to this particular account, I can click this very pencil here, right? So you can see here what? Password. If I like to change the password, I can change the password here. If I want to add more information about what? The admin, I can add more information about the admin, right? So let me go back to my user. Then if I want to add another user, I can click here, user, the name of the user, right? This user cannot log in. That is if I don't want, I can create a user and still make it not to log in. But if I want it to log in, I have to uncheck that box. The username, the password, I have to provide that, right? And every information needed for this particular user. And then what I want this user to do, you can see group membership, admin. So if I wanted to do any other thing, I can actually add that. You can see this user is a member, but here I'm not going to create any user, so I'll leave it as such. So simple. This is how you can set up your Pfsense, your initial settings, right? So In other videos, we will see how to access this interface and then do other stuff with what the Pfsense. So stay tuned to the channel. You'll be seeing more of Pfsense and other stuff from this very channel. Subscribe to the channel, keep sharing the channel, like, comment, okay, bring out if you are not clear with any other information, okay. If you want me to do video on other stuff too, you can bring what your views and your opinion, okay. Stay tuned, subscribe to the channel.